Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your master of martial arts mayhem. And today it is Saturday, which means it's Shaolin Saturday. And we're going to be talking about the 1994 movie Wing Chun, which was produced and directed by Yen Wu Ping. Yes, and starring Michelle Yeoh, Donnie Yen, Wise Lee, and Cheng Pei Pei, among many others. I can't believe this movie's almost over 30 years old now. I was fortunate enough to see it in the theater along on a double feature with the Heroic Trio when I lived in San Diego, but not here in Fossil Bed because they don't do cool things like that. At least in Fossil Bed, maybe in Boulder or someplace else, but they might. Every time they do show a cool movie here, it's always raining or something. Anyway, this movie was released March 24th, 1994 in Hong Kong. It's in Cantonese, subtitled in English, of course, which is how I saw it with more questionable subs at the time. VHS was king still then, and now I've got the images all come from a DVD I have, which is they're a little soft, and I know there's a Blu-ray out region free from Hong Kong. I just don't know if I want to spend the $24 or so to get it. But maybe, we'll see. I do really enjoy the movie. It's probably, along with Heroes of the East, one of the most gentle movies, kung fu movies of all time. I would also say Martial Club is very similar, as far as not doing a lot of killing. But be that as it may, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and if you want to, hit that notification bell to receive notifications to let you know when there's new content, which is every day. And had you told me in 1994 or probably 96, 97, when I first started getting more of these movies in my collection, that Michelle Yeoh would be an Academy Award winning actress some 28 years later, I would have been very skeptical of it, I must say. Which is no offense to Michelle. She's a great actor. And everyone in the movie does a really good job. But she's a Martian, she was a action movie star. Those people don't get nominated for Academy Awards or win them, of all things. Anyway, yes, I do know that this is the theme, the Wong Fei Hung theme. Who was a Hung Gar specialist, and Wing Chun, of course, is the alleged founder of Wing Chun. I couldn't even find a date, a year that this was supposedly started. Obviously, Bruce Lee was its most famous practitioner, at least at first, till he developed his own style, the style without a style, fist with no style. But and there's precious little Wing Chun martial arts in here because see, Yen Chi Tan, which is Donnie Yen, did some of the choreography. But it's action. It's an action-packed movie. It's funny. It's sweet, and even the bad guys don't get killed. One of them gets hurt pretty severely, but he kind of deserves it. So there he is. Yen Chi Tan is Donnie Yen, and Yen Wu Ping, and finally we get the title. This tiny little. I mean, it's big here. English Wing Chun. That's fine. The DVD is supposed to have all three, like Cantonese, Mandarin, and English, but all I could get was English, which is, no big whoop for me. It's pretty straightforward. So there's a master. Yeah, there we go. That is Master Wong. I want to say Wong. Wong Hak Zhao. That's Wise Lee, who's very funny, and he gets beat up a lot in this movie. There's Abacus Fawn, who's Kingdom Yen, and her credit is Yen King Tan. And unfortunately, she's supposed to be smelly, which is it just appears that she's smelly to the men, which is an unfortunate. I mean, she's abrasive and money loving, but she's also a good person overall. I just don't know what the smelly thing's about. So, Yim Wing Chun is played by Michelle, of course, and then Donnie Yen plays Young Pak To, who is her wannabe fiance. So there are some misunderstandings here. it's very much kind of a romantic comedy with action, or an action movie with romance. I don't know. I could have waited till next month to do it. Spoiler alert. But I needed something that was not a Shaw Brothers movie. We'll probably do one next week for our. No, wait, that's the first. Dang, should have put a little more thought into this. And there's Michelle. Now, apparently, she looks like a man in this getup, which is happens a lot in Hong Kong cinema. That the an obvious woman looks is everyone else thinks the people in the movie think she looks like a man. But come on. So there's Wong getting beat up constantly. He hides behind Wing Chun, and then she does the old use him to beat up the bad guys trick. And there you go. So then he decides that's his henchman. I don't know who that's supposed to be. His poor little henchman does not get a credit here in Wikipedia. But they're both very funny together. The whole movie, the whole cast has great chemistry with each other, even the bad guys. But see, he's bleeding because he has been smacked around. He gets smacked around a lot, so it's kind of a running gag there. Now, this is Abacus Fong's father. Is that her father? I'm looking here. Apparently, Wing Chun learned her kung fu because she got bullied. Well, bullies tried to forcefully marry her during her youth, and but she's the only person in the village that will stand up to all the bad guys that come flying around here. Bandits, I guess they're called. Let's see. So this is either her cousin or her sister, and who's getting married. I don't know if that's the priest. Then Charmy arrives. Now, Charmy is played by Catherine Hung, and she's also called Little Charm in the dub, but she's like the most beautiful woman. She's very girly, and as very girly, she's arriving here with her dying husband. And there's 3 Southern masters who are there to help. Apparently, they're probably Hungar practitioners, but they're no match for anybody because the bandits show up after Charmy, and they beat up the Southern masters, and then Wing Chun just smacks them around and destroys them. I love this shot here. There's some really just nice poses. The broadsword is not a weapon that's practiced with Wing Chun. We'll get to the ones that are here momentarily. Wing Chun is a very simple form, and it was designed that way, especially for women to fight. And I'm back. I had a slight thing I had to accomplish here off screen. So, wonderful picture of Michelle there. It looks great. We may see that as the thumbnail. We may not. All right. So, we're still trying to rescue Charmy. Lots of rescue here. And of course, the guy that's after her is that Flying Monkey or Flying Chimpanzee? It's one of the brothers who is a sex pest. Apparently, is Flying Monkey. Yes, I mean, in 1994 they weren't called sex pests either, but happened a lot. The chemistry with all 3 leads here, with the 3 women, is great. You can tell. And then he shows up again, and we have a battle with Tofu. That's Michelle being incredibly limber. She was a dancer, and just amazing. So it's a battle with the Tofu. If the Tofu gets destroyed, then they'll let Charmy go with them or something. And you know how hard it is. I've said this repeatedly, and this is not a Blu-ray, how hard it is to get a good action shots, and also there is scant Wing Chun in here. She gets the stances right and some of the strikes, but mostly there's a lot of wire work. But since it's a comedy and a romance, and it works, and it's just a charming movie. And now speaking of Charmy's husband is now dead. She has no money to bury him. And she's going to sell herself. And now Mr. Wong wants to marry either Wing Chun or Charmy because he's a little bit lecherous himself. They trick him into giving the money to pay for his funeral. And they hire Charmy. Oh, and here's the morons that are running through the trial of 100 arrows, which I don't care. You'd have to pay me a lot to be that stuntman. All right, there's Charmy in her new salesman outfit because she's going to work at the tofu store, or and Mr. Wong is trying to impress Wing Chun, but that's a very heavy vat of tofu. Your humble agent likes tofu for the most part, as long as it's seasoned properly. Now, Donnie Yen, as Pak To shows up and mistakes Charmy for Wing Chun. So here's our first uh, misunderstanding. Then he thinks Wing Chun is a man because of this. I mean, really, how do you not know that's a woman? I know it's a movie. If you add too much logic to it, it doesn't hold up. And he's complaining to Char. He thinks he's talking to Wing Chun, and now this scene where the girls have some girl talk, and it's very cute. And once again, I mean, the whole smelling thing, I just don't get it. Yeah. Now the because of Charmy, the tofu shop is very popular. We've seen tofu. You see tofu in other movies, Avenging Warriors of Shaolin. My Not my favorite Shaw Brothers Venom's movie of all time, but it's high on the list because it was the first one I ever watched start to finish. Now we have a fight with Flying Monkey, and now there we go. The dragon pole is the one of the weapons. There's two weapons in Wing Chun: the dragon pole and the butterfly swords or butterfly knives, depending on your translation. So we do get to see that. I mean, again, there's a lot of flying around. Boot to the chest, lots of embers. Flying Monkey unfortunately gets an ember right to the see that right there, right to the crotch, which renders him impotent. Ooh, ooh. Which you can't feel too sorry for him. And let's see. Oh yes, so Pak To shows up and is annoyed at Wing Chun, who he thinks is not Wing Chun, is some man, even though, I mean, really, how do you not know that's a woman? So she realizes who he is, and Charmy tells him that, that's Wing Chun. He runs away because he's embarrassed. Flying Monkey is whining. His brother, Flying Chimpanzee, laughs at him because he's impotent now, taking a very hot coal to the groin. And they go off to capture. But he's also offended that he got beat by a woman, which, well, that's just dumb because Wing Chun is the style is allegedly designed by a woman for women, but low kicks just makes sense. It's a very effective form. Now, being a Choi Li Fut stylist, I do have a certain bias because Choi Li Fut and Wing Chun were almost polar opposites. Wide swinging strikes for Choi Li Fut, close in strikes, but for the most part, it's kind of dumb. Good kung fu is good kung fu. Bruce Lee himself said Choi Li Fut was a wonderful style and hard to defend against. So there's Flying Monkey playing with Yim Wing Chun's wooden dummy, which is to toughen your arms and your legs so you can resist strikes. Good fight scene, really. Let's see. Flying Monkey is Norman Chu is Chu Sui Kung is Flying Chimpanzee. Really good. I mean, this scene here where they stay on the ground and actually fight is really wonderful. The action is quite good, even when they're flying around with the wires, because Yen Wu Ping is the wire king. Ooh, that rhymed. But overall, their technique is good. I mean, you believe they're actually martial artists. And even though I don't know if Norman Chui had training. Yeah, well, he's been in personal life, blah, 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 blah. Anything? No. Geez, he just passed away this past September 2024, age 73. He's a young man here. He was in the Savage Five, the Battle Wizard, Clan of Amazons. Those are things I have seen. Heroes of the East. Okay, there we go. Because we are going to review that maybe next Saturday. What's 20? Yeah. So anyway, he's got a trick called the cotton belly, which she can't beat because it's a cotton belly. Anyway, there's Donnie Yen or Pak To defeating swords by bending. A bamboo sword would not beat a bamboo sword. Pardon me. A bamboo spear would not bend that way. I'm sorry, but this happens a lot in Yen Wu Ping movies. It just does. But he's got a good fight scene. Again, they're on the ground. It's not overly ridiculous with the wires. But unfortunately, he gets a boot to the chest. Now he's bleeding. But they've gone to talk, and now they're going to fall in love. They've been childhood friends. They have some flashbacks. And Charmy's been captured, and flying monkey wants to marry her, but it can't have children. So that's a thing. Our heroes go to rescue her. She gives these guys a slap across the face with this pole with this wood, which I'm sure just ripped the skin off their faces. While Pak To holds, keeps everyone occupied. And the battle, look, either here's where the wire work starts. He's balancing on this heavy iron sword, so that's the whole thing. It's a spear. Pardon me. I don't know why I keep saying sword. It's a spear. So 3 rounds of fighting. And he wants to bury her, but if he loses, he'll call her mother. Oops, stop. There we go. Another great shot there. And they have a good fight, and then they leave. It's a standstill, but they can't. So she lets him leave. They take Charmy, and she has to go back in 3 days. She's got some internal injuries. Whenever you see in a martial arts people spitting blood out of their mouths, that's signifying an internal injury. Nothing severe. They take their medicine. Then she goes to her master, Ing Mui, the alleged instigator or inventor of Wing Chun, a Buddhist nun. We've seen her in Shaolin Temple. Just the back of her, but this time we get to see her face, and it's Cheng Pei Pei, who is one of the original stars of martial arts. Come Drink with Me, etc., and so on. But this is mostly a cameo. But she says, "Watch this." She manages to break open these gigantic walnuts. Read into that whatever you want. And then we go back, and now we see Abacus. Abacus Fong has tricked Mr. Wong into having some relations with her, and Wing Chun and Pak To go and have a little chat. They're both wounded, but they're going to go on, and Pak To tries to strike because he gets bent or something. I don't know exactly what. And she sees how it moves, which tells her that now she knows how to win. And then she uses this. Look, she's using an actual Wing Chun stance, and to escape, he retaliates by tickling her, and you can tell that they're having a good time, and just really good chemistry between these two leads. And now she goes to confront Blind Chimpanzee on that 3rd day, and she's looking a lot more feminine now. Ha ha ha. That's my Pepe Le Pew. And she's chosen the 2 butterfly swords, which is a common instrument, a common weapon in most kung fu styles, but it's one of the 2, the dragon pole and the butterfly swords, which can be very deadly. I had a friend who sliced off the top of the the back of her palm or the back of her hand with it because she brought it out when she was performing her form. And a flying chimpanzee is using his steel pole, and they have a battle. That's another great shot too. So we go through here. His men want to attack her, but he's kind of an honorable man. He's not horrible. He tells them to stay back. They have more fights. They, hand to hand. There is a lot of wire work here. And it looks like he might be a Hungar stylist that conquered the center with one finger, but we don't know. And there's your wire work, but they're doing their own fights for the most part. And she's figured it out. And finally, she's beat him. And she knows it, and he knows it. He keeps trying, but boot to the head. And she walks off. She's like, we're done. And his men try to rush, and finally he says, you apologize to our mother or ma. That's what it is. So hopefully she's turned the whole bandit clan to good, and they can be, who knows what. But we don't ever find out because Pak Do is happy she's safe. Abacus is getting married. That's their father, her brother. There she is getting married. Abacus is with Wong, and Charmy is going to take over the tofu shop. And there you go. Everyone's happy. Thank you. Thank you. The end. All right. So there's our movie review. It's very gentle. Like I said, it's very funny for the most part. I mean, yeah, actually, there's no really stupid body humor in it, which is helpful. And the dub is good. The subtitles for this one are fine. I highly recommend it. I'm still debating on getting the Blu-ray. I don't need the dub. I didn't see it dubbed originally, so it doesn't bother me. But it's always nice to be able to just to hear what's going on. So that's our Shaolin Saturday movie. The Abyss is from Shaolin Moy, and I think that counts. I'm not really going to stress about everything relating to Shaolin because if I did, we would run out of movies eventually. And plus, there are other good martial arts movies that have nothing to do with Shaolin. So, my fellow agents, until next time, this is X7 signing off.
In a tradition perfected through timeless ages, her legend soars, uniting her people through courage. In weakness, she will find strength. In adversity, she will promise victory. In the face of prejudice, she will discover love. Now, relive the story of a woman whose selfless valor conquered the heart of a nation and created a legacy that will endure forever. The world-acclaimed action director of the Matrix trilogy, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Kill Bill, comes one of the greatest adventures of all time. Wing Chun.